Yeah, thanks, Bob. So I'm Mike Corrigan, one of the other psychologists on the team. And before we move forward on here, all this evidence, all this information that we're helping you collect, I just want to remind you it's stored in Oracle Service Cloud. It's encrypted going up, it's encrypted going down, it's encrypted while at rest. So it provides you with this real-time access and saving it safely in so many different things. But as you can see from the initial risk and safety assessments to ongoing long-term case management across your systems of care, encompassing trauma treatment, clinical care, and much more, by strategically aggregating together all this information collected, VitalChild's designed to perform sound operational and predictive analytics. Because without a large collection of quality, formative, and summative data documenting the 360-degree perspectives of the youth, their caregivers, and the staff serving them, feeding these operational and predictive analytics, the chances or probability for making errors increases. And with VitalChild, we've configured it to reduce this type 1 and type 2 error and provide a wide assortment of automated information-driven recommendations for your workforce to consider. So far beyond informing a placement decision as to whether or not a child should be removed from their home, with VitalChild's quality data collection efforts being shared on one platform across your agencies and tailored to your state's unique needs, we can configure VitalChild, this resource library, to also provide your workforce with a platform to monitor the level of care provided, as well as recommended treatment protocols essential to documenting family first requirements and meeting CWIS expectations and producing numerous safety alerts like you saw previously in the clinical ratings. If there was a suicidal concern, if something came up, it could send an alert to the staff connected to Aaron immediately. Now, before we get to the multidimensional youth assessment Bob mentioned, let's say during Aaron's stay at residential treatment, maybe it turned out Aaron, he has an unusual incident and where he's showing symptoms of abnormal behavior and trying to hurt himself. And this might be due to a drug use or withdrawal we weren't aware of. So if this was the case, an unusual incident form can be completed. And what this does is, a lot of states have to do tens of thousands of these a year. Some states don't even have unusual incident form in place right now. But what we wanted to do was automate this. And also, instead of a horrible incident taking place and your staff and admin finding out about it via the local news, once this is completed, anyone connected to Aaron's case, the facility, and if it's set to a severity level, the system basically can text or email, notify anybody who needs to be notified that this incident took place. A unique feature of VitalChild, however, is that our data can be used to keep a pulse on every child, and a great amount of this data can also be used to better inform and train your staff related to outcomes documenting the care and safety levels being provided in your facilities, foster homes, and homes being monitored. Now, this MDYA measures, our multidimensional youth assessment, the MDYA measures 4 predictive dimensions essential to better outcomes in child welfare. We developed these, multidimensional education developed these during our federal research with the U.S. Department of Ed, National Science Foundation, and Department of Justice efforts that we've done. And what we realized is facilities and homes caring for kids are relying upon some predictive dimensions. Dimension 1 looks at climate and environment. Dimension 2 looks at the youth well-being. Dimension 3 looks at behavioral risk factors. And Dimension 4, a very important one given so many kids aren't graduating, looks at in foster care and CPS aren't graduating, looks at educational and parent support. And underneath all of these, as you see the check marks, these are built through reliable and validated scales we developed. And adding these together, we create a dimensional index, and we're all about reliability and validity. But back to the report. The MDYA report shows you how we assess these 4 dimensions and provide you with a 360-degree analysis of your youth, parents, guardians, and staff, and how they're viewing the behaviors and environments where your kids reside. So this report here would represent all the kids, their parents, and the staff, and views of those who've been in this residential treatment center over the past month, or a quarter, or a year, whenever you want to pull up the report, weekly even if you wanted. We can also drill down to look more closely at the scales comprising each dimension. For instance, if we drill down into the Dimension 1, we might find there's an issue in the facility with bullying and threats of violence, or maybe it's a trust issue taking place with the staff supporting the kids. We might also see a halo effect taking place where maybe the staff sees things differently than the kids or parents. But we can also drill down to look at each specific child and what their mean scores are for each dimension and the scale, as well as how their parents or guardians are feeling. So this same type of report can be automatically produced in real time for helping social workers, CPS, and foster agencies track the safety and care in foster homes or CPS homes being monitored, which is an essential ingredient to reducing crises such as children missing from foster care homes or children experiencing ongoing neglect or abuse. The MDYA can even be used to monitor juvenile detention centers and service provider treatment programs. So an administrator can use the MDYA reports dashboard to look more specifically at how different facilities and homes performance compares across agencies, counties, regions, or state levels. We can show you that in a full demo when you're ready. Going back to how's this information collected, we'll pull up the residential treatment MDYA, and it'll show you just basically it's a number of questions similar to the other assessments we're helping you with. Our belief in research documents, however, is that all the time and money spent treating and caring for kids will be much better invested, successful, if we can be confident these kids are living in a home or facility where they get their basic needs met, feel safe, and some sort of love and belonging. So these MDYA monitoring efforts will help reduce crisis situations and help you make more evidence-driven decisions related to the care, to the placement, and basic needs possibly still missing, and finding the answers to help kids get back home. In fact, a number of these pieces from the MDYA are configured to populate the risk scores that we use to help caseworkers prioritize their clients, and also the safety scores we have in our foster care placement system. So as you can see here, the MDYAs are similarly delivered as the other forms you have seen, and this assessment, which utilizes these reliable and valid scales we developed during our federal research efforts, is what we suggest using as the ongoing outcomes monitoring tool for your kids, and also equally important for informing continuous improvement efforts within your facility and homes. And please also note, we provide trainings on how to use this data for continuous improvement efforts. So it's not just about looking at challenges. We want to show folks how to use everything they have and build on their strengths to overcome such challenges. A lot of this information could be really great at helping foster parents figure out what they need to do better. But for a moment, let's now imagine if in this scenario we find Aaron stabilizing on his drug use and mental health and trauma symptoms, but as a result, we now find that Aaron and his mother have to appear in court to determine if Aaron needs to be sent to a foster home before returning home. If this was the case manager, social workers, staff, and clinicians who have been working on Aaron's case could combine their collected findings into a judge's planning guide that complements the integrated care passport. This will allow the magistrate to have the information they need to make a more informed, evidence-driven decision. What the integrated care passport and the judge's planning guide would show is that after about 6 months in care, although Aaron has made substantial gains and remains stable, it is determined that his mother is still trying to stabilize the home environment. And as a result, the magistrate comes to the conclusion that placing him in foster care may be the most beneficial step before returning home. And if this was the case, then they could complete the change of status form. This change of status form, similar to the intake form, is designed to be standardized and used across all agencies. So the reason we have designed many of the forms and tools this way is so that we can help you use this data to configure your quarterly and annual accountability reports. Everything we're collecting can be configured to populate whatever type of reports you need. And by doing this, we're able to simplify and automate these tasks for your data analysts and IT folks, thus allowing them to focus their attention and expertise to further explore what the operational and predictive analyses are telling you about certain strengths and challenges being experienced at different facilities, agencies, and counties. Because as we all know, due to the differing staffing challenges, resources available, and the different unique needs and experiences your clients encounter across your state, what works in a larger city in your state might not work in another city or town or rural county. So our goal is to give you the data you need to personalize the system for each agency, each facility, based on the recommendations that are in here to really help each agency